Can you make a similar immediate impact as a rookie that some of those guys have in this past decade?
Right now, I'm not sure. Right now, I'm just working towards doing that. I'm trying to take the steps that they took, or just trying to emulate their journey and try to work as hard as I can every day in the gym.
When you say emulate their journey, what do you kind of mean by that?
Basically, the steps that they took and the route that they took in leading their teams right away. That's something that I'm going to try to emulate.
How do you feel that you can approach that, being a young guy stepping into a locker room? How are you going to make that transition to a leader in an NBA locker room?
Well, that's something that Coach K best prepared me for. He just brought all. He gave me as much knowledge as he could during the short time that I was at Duke. So I'm just gonna bring that mindset, that leadership mindset, into any organization that I'm a part of.
Anything else about Mike that you particularly carry forward?
One is his humor. He's actually a humorous guy. I didn't know that when I'm going in, but and one, just his leadership qualities.
Do you want to go to Cleveland? Is that your hope?
Right now, I just want to go to any organization that wants me. Right now I'm just working hard every day in the gym, and when I do work out for the team privately, then I'm just going to give it my all and just show the type of player that I am.
Is there any pressure?
Without playing the whole season, I mean, was there a point where you thought your stock was going to take a hit because of the injury, and has it surprised you that it obviously didn't?
Oh, yeah, definitely. After December 8th, probably around December 15th, I still remember I called my father and I asked him, if I was still going to come out this year, and he was like, yeah, you're fine. And I didn't believe it until I came back for the NCAA tournament, and I was still rated the best prospect or so-called prospect. So, that was something I was worried about the whole entire season while I was hurt. But, my father kept me grounded, just kept on telling me good things that I needed to hear to get me through the process.
But it doesn't sound like you have much clarity in terms of knowing why you maintain that stock. Obviously, you don't mind, but in terms of, do you have any sense? Is it just, the skills and what you're presenting?
I'm not sure. I guess some people see different things in me that I don't even see in myself sometimes. So to maintain that number one spot, it's an honor, honestly.
Kyrie, how much pressure is there, considering what Cleveland went through with LeBron, to really embrace the fan base, embrace the opportunity to go there if you are picked?
Well, one, the pressure's not coming from Cleveland, and two, the pressure's coming from this NBA draft. I'm not the Cleveland pressure is really not weighted on my shoulders until if I get there. If they draft me, so I'm not really concerned about that right now. I'm really concerned about just being the best player I can be every single day and just working hard.
It sounds like they haven't told you definitively that they're taking you?
No, sir. They haven't told me.
What's your impressions of Derek Williams? Haven't played him in that tournament game and watched Derek Williams.
Well, one, he torched us in the NCAA tournament, and he gave us about 30 points. So watching him live, it was a great experience to be on the floor with him. He's a great player, 6'8", athletic. So I think he'll make his transition to the NBA game will be easy.
Are you surprised that it seems like a lot of talk about you and him as the top two guys?
Am I surprised?
Yeah, that both of you are where you're at now.
No, sir. I think that we're two talented players with a lot of talent. So we'll see how it goes on June 23rd.
Hey, what's your take on?
Just told you you're our guy?
Oh no, I'm not surprised. I don't think they're supposed to.
Where you would be confident. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not really surprised. I'm not really concerned whether Cleveland's going to tell me or not. Right now, I'm just working towards if they do want me to come work out. I'm preparing for their workout. So.
What's your take on Jimmer Fredette? What have you seen of him as a player? What do you like about his game? What don't you like about his game?
Well, he's the Jimmer, with quotations around it. So he's a great player. I've never played against him, but I'm a fan of his. Honestly, he's just a great shooter, great player all around, and just the way he led BYU this season was incredible, and I'm a fan of his.
Did you get to meet him here, or had you met him before?
I saw him once around here. I don't really get to see too many guys around here because everybody's busy. I'm sorry, and so I'll probably talk to him later.
You're not worried about him upstage and you in the draft because he's so popular, right?
No, sir. I'm not really worried about that.
Which teams will you work out for?
I'm not sure yet. I'm going to talk with my agent in the next few days about what teams want me to come and work out for them.
Do you have a sense that you're just going to limit to the top one or two, or are you open to seeing as many cities?
Right now I'm open to just exploring all options as much as I can.
Any problems with the toe at all since you returned?
No, sir.
None at all.
None at all. The overall intention for me was to be at Duke for 1 or 2 years. That was for me personally. I was never going in and be like, with the attitude, I'm going to be one and done right away. I was just going to go through the season and just see how it was going to end up and then make my decision then. So when I called my father a week later, I was really, really, really concerned about my draft stock. So, man, that wasn't the overall plan, but it just worked out that way.
Was it somewhat a function? You hear people, Mike Dunleavy talked like this, that when the Warriors said you're going to be the third pick if you're in this draft, he went back to his parents, and his parents agreed with him that, there's a certain point where you get drafted where it just doesn't make any sense not to stay in the draft. How high you went, how much of a factor was that in whether or not you turned pro?
It was definitely a big factor for me, just based on because it was weighing my decision back and forth. It was a really tough decision, just based on I was still on the campus, Duke campus, which made my decision that much harder to leave. I was seeing my friends every single day, seeing my teammates every single day, being around them, and they're working out, and I'm preparing for the NBA draft, or whether I was still deciding whether I was going to leave or not. That was a tough time for me. And when I went home that week and I decided whether I was going to leave or stay, I think that gave me a lot more clarity, and it gave me a clearer view of the overall big picture. Many people don't get the chance to be drafted number 1 or 2, and I was projected there. So that going home gave me more clarity, but at Duke, it just made my decision that much harder, so that's why I went home.
What about have an impact in that you saw this could happen? Did getting hurt have an impact on your decision to come out because you saw how quickly it could disappear, or did that not factor into it?
That wasn't really a factor. I wasn't really concerned about getting hurt again. The overall attitude that I had was making the right decisions for me and my family. That was all I was concerned about for me and my family.
What about your education? How important is it to get a degree? Are you planning to go back and finish up? Or?
I made a pact with my father where I have to get my degree in 5 years, so that plan to get my degree is already in play.
What is this, a signed pact, or what is this pact?
If you don't.
I have no idea. I have no idea with the punishment with my father, how it's going to go. I have no idea.
Kyrie, what plans do you have in case of a lockout in terms of staying in shape, continuing to develop?
I'm just going to continue on the path I'm going right now, just taking it day by day, just trying to get better every single day and preparing for the NBA as best I can.
Kyrie, when you made your decision, did you drop classes then, or did you finish the semester?
No, I finished my freshman season, freshman year. I believe that the NCAA made a rule that if you don't finish your freshman year, then the team loses a scholarship. My father wasn't going to let me drop out anyway, so I don't want to be considered a dropout anyway.
What do you feel like you can or you need to prove in the next month to show that you're the best player in this draft?
Just prove that I'm healthy and I can endure any workout and just prove my toughness whatever team wants me to work out.
Do you think there's any negative connotation with being a one-and-done guy? I mean, people like Bob Knight have criticized college basketball because
I think there are always going to be negative connotations about one and done. It's just based on it kind of questions like why even come to college for that 1 year. But I think people have their own different reasons and different thoughts about being one and done. So.
Should that rule stay 1 year? Do you think 2 years would be better, or 0?
Honestly, I think they should just leave it up to the player, whether it was high school 1 year or 2 years. Any rule they put in play is going to be the standard. So, I think it's just up to the player.
Kyrie, just for 100% clarification, your dad's name again?
Kyrie Irving.
Spell that, please.
Drederick.
And talk more about that pact. What kind of pact is it that you have with him?
It's a pact that I made with him in the beginning of my freshman year. He told me if I was going to leave after 1 or 2 years, that I was going to have to get it in a certain amount of years. So that's a special pact that I have to uphold.
How many years?
5 years.
5 years.
Yes, sir.
If it wasn't for the rule, would you have tried to gone out of high? If it wasn't for the rule, would you have tried to gone pro out of high school?
Oh no, sir. No. It's kind of crazy now that I look back at the recent drafts when high school kids were allowed to come out, and it's just a different age now, a new generation where our bodies aren't the same as back then. They were a new breed back then, as you can see in the NBA now. So I wouldn't have tried to come out. I enjoyed college.
So 5 years to graduate from now? That's pretty tough, isn't it, when you're going to be full-time? in the league?
Yes, sir.
How do you figure you'll do it?
Gonna have to make it work. I'm really gonna have to make it work. That pact I have to uphold. I have to.
You plan on going back during the summer or just doing a lot?
Oh yes, sir. I'm definitely gonna be back during the summer. I'm not gonna just forget about the Duke program. I'm gonna be around the team and just try to be around there as much as I can.
You gonna do any studies in the locker room or something, or during?
I have no idea right now. I have to figure that out in the next few months.
What happens if you don't make it? What's the penalty for not making the 5-year window?
Like I said, that's a punishment that my father's gonna have to come up with. 5 years from now, I'm gonna be 24. I'm gonna be a pretty grown man, so no offense to my father, but the punishment, I think I could take it. So,
Kyrie, how much you've been watching the NBA playoffs, and anything that has stood out to you?
Definitely the pace and definitely the intensity of it. That's something that I experienced firsthand 2 times when I went to the Heat game 6 against the Celtics, and I was at the game last night sitting courtside. So that was something. It's interesting to watch up close.
If for some reason you wouldn't go number 1, have you ever been to Minnesota, and do you have any desire to do so?
Well, I know 2 things about Minnesota. 1, I know that even if you wear gloves, you're still not going to be warm. And 2, that they have connecting tubes everywhere. So that's the only 2 things I know. But any organization I go to, I'm going to be happy with. So.
2 more questions. Does that make you really want to go?
Huh?
Does that really make you want to go?
Honestly, any team I go to, I'll be happy with.
What do you know about Cleveland?
Excuse me?
What do you know about Cleveland?
I know it's honestly I have to still do research on Cleveland and Minnesota and Utah, and Toronto. Any teams I have to do research on. I don't really know too much about those cities. Kind of as a Jersey kid, so.
Last question. How do you think the rule itself about having to go at least a year? How do you think that's changed college basketball?
It's impacted a lot. It's impacted definitely a lot, just based on that a lot of people want to see great college basketball for a few years, or as many years as they can. A lot of fans want them to stay for 4 years, but honestly that's never going to be the case, just based on the talent that's arising. So the one and done rule has impacted college basketball a lot.